Hey folks, here we are back in the lab with another project. Today we have a BUHL number 275 lantern here. And this is, what is it? Hurricane? Yeah. Hurricane. BUHL Hurricane. It's pretty chewed up, but it's got an issue here. Pretty major issue. I may even play with the idea of patching that with a piece from a rusty junker that I might just paste down here. We'll see. I haven't looked this thing over except for that. I mean, that was an obvious thing. Another obvious thing is this is a beautiful Ham's standard number 0 hot blast globe in here, and that's a rare globe. That doesn't belong in there. We'll find something else for it, and we're gonna fix this baby up. What do you say? Let's hit it. Okay. Well, I just taped that whole desoldering thing in slow motion on my camera. Had no idea. Anyway, what I did was I got rid of the solder here on the back of the globe plate. And now I'm going to loosen up these tabs here and try to pull this baby off. Wonder what that slow-mo is going to look like, considering it was a 5-minute long slow-mo. The slow-mo part is probably 2 hours. I don't know. Sorry about that. This is a Pixel 7a that I film with, and it's really quirky. I mean, you just blow on it and buttons push and things change constantly on it. It's a little annoying, but it is my primary video camera for the channel here. All right, let's see. Did we get enough solder off? Just a little tiny bit that we need there. There we go. Okay. That gives us much more access to things. And you can see by these that it takes a lock knob, so that helps me find a nice appropriate globe for it. So those parts, we can clean those up, no problem. Let's see if the cap, no, okay, cap does not move. Let's lube that up for a while. Give that a minute. So while spraying that filler cap, I've noticed some cracks here in the chimney tube, which I just experienced this yesterday working on an all brass lantern, and it had cracks everywhere. And I'm pretty sure this is not brass. That would be amazing if it was, but it's definitely not. And this acts very cracky-like, which is just must have been the type of steel that they used at BUHL. I would think the year of this would help me with that a little bit, because who knows, if it was made at wartime, maybe they used an inferior steel to make lanterns with. Oh yeah, number of cracks there. So I'll have to be careful with that. Still want to know what that is. I'm gonna touch that with the. Okay, so that's solder. Also just patched a hole. But this, I don't know. Here's what I'm thinking, folks. Here, for instance, is a junker lantern that's gonna go to the dump. Well, you know, I mean, who knows? But I've gotten all the parts off it I need, and it's shot. But I could cut out a chunk with the Dremel cutting bit, just a piece, because these tubes, well, a little different, but the area that I need, it looks pretty much similar, and it has the same curve. So, and then, you know, press it on and solder it up. I don't know. We'll see how ambitious I feel after we get a lot of this baby cleaned up. Okay. Let's see here. This is a very nice looking cap. I certainly do not want to injure it. So I want to be delicate with this. Let me give it another squirt. Not a fan of these. This type of sprayer, it just lets far too much stuff out all at once. I need small amounts here for the stuff I do. I'll have to get a small can of this. But this was in the barn, been there forever, so I got to use it up. Use it up. All right. I'm going to try this, but very gently. Give it a little more force than my hands would. There we go. All right. No injury to the cap. Excellent. Tank is clean. No hidden wicks. Any surprises? Edges look great. Great. That's good to know. Again, as I had a problem yesterday with an all brass chimney tube with cracks in it, I kept the crown on because I was too worried about these posts, because they're most likely constructed of the same steel, because it's one part here, and I'm afraid that the post would break off. Well, there's a dent in that. I'd like to fix that in the right way, so I'm gonna pull it off. Let's try it. Let's try. You live and you learn, right, folks? Okay, let's get. Ooh, wow. That would have gone into my hand pretty deep. Ooh, all right, you know what? Nope. I could tell by the way that acted that metal's very brittle. Okay. It just answered my own question. Good idea that I didn't do that. But, okay. Okay, well, I got that dent out of there. Good. Okay. So what I am gonna do, this appears to be black paint. I'm gonna go try some stripper out. Gonna put some stripper on it, get this paint off, and then we'll start cleaning this metal up. I'm gonna treat all the metals of this as though they're brittle, just in case. Because, like I said, this is my first BUHL. Don't know how they act. They all have attitudes. So, they all have things that you shouldn't mess with. You know, every manufacturer, there's something. So I'm going to go put some stripper on this, and then I'm going to, while that stripper is doing its thing, I'll come in and hit the grinder with some of these small things, clean them up, and then we'll be back at it in no time flat. It'll come up just like that. Right. We got paint remover, got a brush, and we got a lantern. Let's get to it. Stripper is applied. Now back into the lab to work on them other parts. Look at it. Lab, come on now. Come on. There you go. Okay, so put this on the wheel for a couple seconds. Man, a lot of carbon all over this baby. Close enough. Okay, there's that. Let's clean that pretty good. Let's take a little look here at the burner. Okay, depending on what, if I pick a clear globe to go on this, and depending on what the whole rest of the lantern looks like, I was thinking maybe polish this a little bit, but I don't think this lantern's going to want a polished dome on the burner. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the chicken and back to the chicken. I must be hungry. Okay, I'm going to go back to the kitchen and check on the paint stripper. Okay, well, we are back from the sink, and that was indeed black paint on there. Wasn't a whole lot of it. A lot of times when you take off a paint job, it reveals all kinds of new hidden issues. That was such a thin layer of paint as it appeared to be. That no new problems have arisen, and you can see that the embossing on the steel is still quite light, but you can make it out. So next is to take this stuff to the big wheel, because this looks like there's some handsome metal underneath all this oxidation here, and I want to reveal that. Some may be happy with the way it is now, but I'm not. There's still black paint everywhere, and I'm going to clean this up to the desired effect. Well, let's see what we can come up with from the large wire wheel, and we'll reassemble right back here. All right, we are back from the grindage. Yeah, things cleaned up just fine here. And I'm hearing my voice start to get a little hoarse, probably from that stripper. I've been noticing a trend. After I get done stripping paint, my voice gets a little cough. Not, I don't drink coffee, but coffee and a little hoarse and whatever. So I noticed while I was cleaning, a little hunk of whatever this hunk of solder is on there for. I wasn't covering anything, but I could see that there's no rust underneath it, so it's been there a long time. And I have also noticed that down one side here is the majority of the high rust. And you can see the majority of the high rust back here, down this side, and down over here. So that means it was hanging in a barn somewhere that was under a drip probably for a million years. And I did notice after some cleaning, some pitting here. So this was rust related, not necessarily a structural defect or somebody ripping it open. But there are some flaps here that I did notice that I might be able to bend that back and cover some of this hole. But I still may want to do a patch idea. I'm going to look into that because I have a junker. I don't care about cutting it up. And I got plenty of cutting wheels for the Dremel. So, meantime, I'm going to get some nylon bits out here and start cleaning on some of this stuff. These nylon bits, which, by the way, are these right here. So if you want to pause on that and take a look, I got these on Amazon. They were inexpensive. And this was a big box full of all sizes. But I would recommend, if you're using a flex core with your Dremel like this, those are not high power. They will not generate their amperage very well through, because you're going to heat this up and you're going to kill it. So I would recommend getting the smaller ones, not these. But you can use these, I think, if you're using the actual Dremel itself without the flex core on it. That's just my recommendation. You do with that as you may. All right, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to start on the body, and I am using this is a 320 grit, and I'm going to use that on some of the heavier rust issues here, clean them up a little bit. All right, here we go. I'm making a little bit of a stop here because I want to look at this. See what happens here. Hey, nice. Could almost JB weld this area together here. Oh, that looks a million times better, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, great. That's cool. Okay, back to it. Where were we? I am dying to know what that blob is. Oh, that's ugly as hell. Whatever it is, I think I could do a better job of it. So that'd be. I want to check it out. Well, whatever that was doesn't belong there. I'll tell you that. Okay. Cool. Otherwise, I probably would have left that thing sitting there. You can tell by the metal that thing's been there a long time. Okay, good. We made 2 very nice cosmetic improvements just then. Good, good, good. Sweet. All right, I think we're at the with the condition this thing is in with. Oh geez, what I do? Bend that without even knowing it. The condition of this, I'm not going to go a whole lot further with massively cleaning it and things. I'm going to treat it with linseed and leave it at that. There. So okay, on to steel walnut stuff. You don't need to see that, do you? We'll do a little time lapse of it. Time lapsey. Got this trick from my barber. Good way to get any of the Dremel dust and steel wool dust and dirt and things off before you do whatever your next step is. For us, it's going to be assembly and oiling. All right. All right, so time to do a little reassemble work here. Now, I can plop a little solder in there. I probably don't really need to, but I'm gonna. I don't think I'm gonna need anywhere near as much solder as I put on here during manufacturing. I just wanna do it to do it. The more times you do something, the better you get at it. That's all we need. Perfect. Okay. All right. On to boiled linseed oil with 5% kerosene in it. If this is your first time, here I like to paint on the linseed oil to get in all the little cracks that my fat fingers can't get in. And then I get a rag and kind of wipe it all off. Kind of like wax on, wax off with your car wax. All right, let's see how this changes the attitude of the metal on this thing. Oh yeah, it's going to change things a lot, the way things look here. Good. In a good way, I mean. Now, of course, using my rag and a little stick, get in the areas that, again, my fat fingers can't get to. I don't have a problem with this linseed oil staying in these little corners because that's where the problems happen with rust and things, but I don't like the wet look in the corners, so I got to make sure everything looks uniform. I think we're about done with the treatment. I don't know how I adopted myself to calling it that, but it has stuck. So whenever you hear me say treatment, I'm talking about linseed oil treatment of the metal to resist future rusting. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is go see if I can find a nice globe to stick in this thing. All right, well, since I don't have any fresh 1-inch wicks, this baby's going to go back in there. All right, and we'll cut it off nicely, make it look sweet. Excellent. Yeah, that's barely enough to hit the kerosene, but I don't plan on firing this up right now. All right. That's a tight fit, but that's all right. All right. What I found was a Dietz fits all, which is just right. It's obviously not a BUHL, but It is a lock knob to work with these little locking knobbies. Well, that's interesting. Fits all seems a little weird in there. What is the weirdness? And I'm going to completely cover myself. Or I'm sorry, cover the globe in oily fingerprints. Well, that'll have to do for now. Okay. I gotta get all them freaking fingerprints off there because it's going to drive me nuts. But let's put this bail on very carefully because of our problem here. Bail test. Oh, weak. That's okay. That's all right. I won't yell at you, Mr. BUHL. You know, something's funny with the globe plate. Little warpage, which I didn't notice when I was cleaning it. It's all a little wonky there. Yet the globe is still sitting where it should, but the weird, so close. Okay, let me get the fingerprints off that. And here we are, BUHL number 275, Hurricane, out of Detroit, Michigan. So something's sitting funny with the, that's off by about less than a quarter of an inch. And that's at its max down there. So something unusual going on there, but that's okay. It's okay. That's just what we're going with. This is what we're going to put on display here in my house. Just like this. So the metal is, I mean, you know, for the most part, it's all right. But right down, you can see it starts here and comes down there. Comes down, you can see it on the knob here. And then trailing down there. So you can see where this was sitting under a drip somewhere hanging in a barn. All right, well, hey, we are done with this project for now. I mean, at some point, maybe we'll fire it up, and if I do, I'll show you. But I'm glad I had an extra fits all to fit all in here. So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by the lab to check this out. Any questions, leave them in the comments. And as usual, don't you go changing.